It's been said that the song, The 12 Days of Christmas, originated based on this 12-day period between Christmas and Epiphany. It was written for children to learn their catechism. Each day represented a tenet of our faith. The first day of Christmas was a partridge in a pear tree, which represented Christ on the cross. The 4 calling birds represented the 4 Gospels and the writers of those Gospels. The 10 Lords of Leaping was a reference to the 10 Commandments. This story of the origination of the song may be a legend or even may be anecdotal, but it's one that has lasted over 200 years. Another story that's lasted even longer is about the star that led the Magi to Christ and was only seen when Christ was born. Throughout history, the star has been thought to be of magical origin. There's been no other star like it since, and it is unexplainable to this day. Some thoughts about the star are that it was a comet, but based on what is now known about comets, when they were passing and what their trajectories are, it's been determined that there was no comet passing Bethlehem at the time of Jesus' birth. Scientists like Johann Kepler, who was a 17th century astronomer and astrologer, known for his laws of planetary motion, suggested that the star was several planets appearing close together. But from all descriptions we have of the star's light was from one source, not several. Another theory is that it was a supernova. But again, scientists have traced stars back as far as Christ's time, and there were no supernovas near Bethlehem at that time either. We know that there was a tradition of stargazing in areas east of Bethlehem. One reason for the gazing was for looking signs of the coming Messiah. The Magi were astronomers and astrologers. As such, they would be looking for a sign in the skies that the Messiah had come. These Magi were considered learned people, and they were well respected. That is why Herod called them to him and asked them to report to him what they had found, as they would have credible reports. We can see why the star played an important part in the birth story. People have always seemed to like to look up to the sky to see the stars. Maybe they do this because we feel solitude, or maybe we want to feel a part of something bigger than ourselves, or possibly just to see the natural beauty that God has given us. But we also see stars as signs of greatness. When we were students in elementary school, we wanted a star on our test paper to show we did well. We were called star students. We wanted to be the school star athlete. We said when we grew up that we may want to be a movie star or a rock star. We wish upon stars. We sing about stars. We put stars at the top of our Christmas trees. We see these stars because of their light, even during the day at times, and yet we cannot touch a real star. They are so distant, it takes years for their light to reach the earth. We can possess representations of stars, but we cannot touch the actual star. The star is the ultimate symbol of Jesus, the one-time light of the world that is forever remembered, the one light that will shine for all time. Before the birth of Jesus, people mentioned his coming would bring light. They searched for this light and prophesied that when it came, it would be God coming down to earth. Before Jesus' birth, the people believed that without this light, they were in a spiritual darkness. Despair, loneliness, sin, they are all metaphors for darkness. Despair is the absence of hope. Where there is no hope, we lose that light of faith. The darkness of loneliness when we want to share our joys or need a shoulder to support us, and there is no one there. The darkness of evil that pervades when we revel in sin. The absence of light is the darkness where we can't see the way, where we are feeling like a ship loose of its moorings. How we will cling to anything just to have something to help keep us in place. It's like the Jewish people wandering in the desert, wandering for years as their light had not come. The darkness was seen as a foreboding and vengeful God. The Jewish people were wandering in the darkness, looking for that light that would lead them, as it led the Magi, to the light of Christ, salvation. The Magi help to show us the lights that guide us to God. As Jesus was a light in the darkness, and as the Magi led others to the light, each of us needs to be a light to each other, to dispel the darkness of loneliness by visiting someone who wants visitors, helping someone to make the right decision over the wrong one, or lending an ear to someone who needs to unburden themselves. One lit candle, one person with faith dispels the darkness in a room. The room grows brighter with each succeeding lit candle or each additional person of faith. As each one of us becomes a light to others, we see a bit more brightness breaking through that darkness of sin, of despair, of loneliness. Light begins to enter the world with just one light and grows with each one added. It's the beginning of a new year. We should each start the new year by becoming a light to one another. We can carry this light throughout the year, so when we look back over the 2015, we can be satisfied with what we did. Epiphany. It's a story of light, of hope. Let the star that shone for Christ be in our minds and our hearts throughout this year. It can be our light that leads us to deeper faith. Let us see that the light from the star is Jesus, who truly is the star of our world.